Hello guys, the Rig here, or Prime Tech, and I'm just making this really short video of just how to do the EDID hack. I decided not to record my desktop because I haven't got any desktop recording software set up yet. I've only just received this monitor. So first up, you want to make sure that you've got the programs needed, and I'll actually go to macro mode and show everyone those, just so you can just like pause and then just, you know, write down the link or whatever and download them. So here they are there. It's the Phoenix 1.3 program and soft MSM I think it's called, and then Monitor Asset Manager, and then you've also got the Freesync demo down the bottom there, which you can find pretty much anywhere. So there they are. Alright, so once you get them, you pretty much install all that software and you know, set up a little FreeSync folder so you can just work in. Install the software, and the first thing you want to run is, well, first up you've got to get the current EDID off the screen. This here is my current one. There's data you'll see in it. That's pretty much all it will come out as. That's my original one, and to do that you load up, let's see if I can remember this correctly, I think it's soft MCCS. I don't think that's what it's called, that could be the link. Yeah, soft MCCS. So you load that up, and then it will have up here, it'll bring you to a window up the top where you'll be able to select your monitor. I've only got one monitor, so that's just what I can select, and inside that information you'll see basic information down the bottom, and then you just click on File, Save the EDID, and it'll have the screen to save it as. And what you want to do is go ahead and save it as Raylar EDID file. I've already got some there, so I'll just put this as a test. So you just go ahead and save that. Make sure it's Raylar. So save, and then you can close that program now. We don't need that program. And you'll get this little DAT file there that you saved. You open it up, and it'll have all these freaking you know, numbers and shit on it. So what you need to do next is load up the Phoenix 1.3 program. So that's that there. Everything keeps opening up off screen. And then go ahead and open up your test file, the one you just saved from the other program. Just open that up. It'll say, would you like to blah 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 open it. It's going to convert it to version 1.3. The file is actually 1.4. If you can actually find a Phoenix version that supports version 1.4, it'd be easier. You wouldn't have to do this step. But anyway, it opens up. You press yes, it opens up, and then you're going to press on this little pencil, so it allows you to modify. And then you go to detailed timing, and now it's got 4 blocks, but only one of these blocks is probably going to affect your FreeSync settings. And another thing to remember is that sometimes it glitches out and some of these values will go to 0. So you want to try to remember what values are sitting there if you accidentally click on something you shouldn't, because if you, like, this is my one for FreeSync, block 3, and minimal V range, vertical range 35, and max 61. So they're the ranges, those two ones there for the FreeSync. So that's 35 to 61 Hertz. And when you open this up, you might find it be on timing or monitor or something like that, or be on unused down here. Just make sure you monitor range. Hang on, I'll try to remember where I was. Standard timings. You see some of these that'll screw up when you click on them. Oh, here we go. Monitor range limits. It was that. So sometimes they'll screw up when you click on them and you'll lose your values. So the easy thing to do is just unmodify, then go back and have a look again. And you see here what's happened is that it's screwed up. I've lost my clock speeds. Pixel clock's gone to 0, and the vertical range has gone 112. So this is a glitch in the program. So you want to make sure you open up only to monitor range limits. You only edit the values you need to, and then you save it and get out. So if you get this that where your values start screwing up and they're not the same as they were before, you don't have to save it. Don't save it. Open up the file again. Let's go back there. Block 3. See, I haven't got edit mode on yet. So you can just sit there and say, oh okay, it should be 560 clock speed and 35 to 61. Yours will probably be 40 or something, or 45 to, you know, 60 or whatever. And then you just press on the pencil. It'll take you back to that by default. So it's monitor range limits, and here you go, you can edit it. And then once you've edited it, you can just go save, and save it as, well, you can save it on top of the same file you had before, but you want to keep an original, because there is a glitch with Windows where it will make it difficult for you to get rid of the EDID that's been in the driver. So just keep an original. So when you save it, it saves a file after all that messing around, and then you go to the file, and this edit is real simple. Basically you've got to convert it back to version 1.4, and to do that you go to this X line, whatever it is, 10, and then you go 4 out, you know, where it says 03, it will say 03, it's actually, that's saying it's version 3, so we want to change that to a 4. But because you've changed something, you have to then also go to this very last byte here, and you see how it says 2D? Yours will be different. It'll be different every time. You want to change that to one value below. So this is alphabetical here. Sometimes it'll be a number. If it's a number, like if it was 23 for example, you change it to 22. But it's 2D, so A, B, C, D. So that means C. We've got to reduce it 1. So C comes before D. We reduce it down to C. That's just something you got to do. And then you go save. Okay, so now it's ready to open up in it is this monitor information, you know, monitor assist manager, I think that's what it's called. So we go open that up. So I think it makes an icon in your desktop called mon info. So here we are with this program, and this will allow us to make the INF file. But first let's open up that file we just edited, the EDID. Go open, and let's have a look at the values first before we go any further. It should be revision 1.4. You should have your color depth the way it should be. Mine's 10-bit monitor, so yours should be right. And just have a basic look over the information, make sure there's nothing that looks completely weird. And there's our vertical sync ranges there, and we've got the proper video bandwidth, because if it says 0 there, then you've screwed up. You need to go back. And yeah, it all looks right. Okay, so go up to here, File, Create INF file. INF is actually a driver file, and then you just save it as a name, monitor.inf, save. Let's close this program, we don't need anymore. And so here we go, we've got the monitor INF file, and for the sake of sanity, you probably want to change the name right down where it says product ID inside the INF file you just made. You can change that to anything, but you probably want to change it to you know, the vsync settings you tried, like 33 Hz or something like that, just so you can keep track, because you'll find that some of the settings will, if you go too low, you're going to get problems. So you'll find that your monitor, your controller board for your monitor will only be able to go down so far before it starts doing weird things. And then you save that. So you got your INF file. Next thing to do is go to Windows, look for your recovery settings or recovery options. It's right there. Click on recovery options, and then you go restart now, or restarting, because you can't install the driver. You will not be able to install the driver because there's a custom driver. Windows won't let you. So you go to this restart mode, and then you go to troubleshooting, or troubleshoot, advanced settings, startup settings, and you'll get this screen. It'll list all the things you want. The option you want is, I think in the boot menu it comes up as pressing 7 to select your disable driver signature enforcement, and then you go restart, and your computer's going to restart. Or look at a black screen for a bit. I've got no shirt on. I probably shouldn't put it there. Alright, let's boot. Let's boot up without error. Okay, so you get this screen, startup setting options, and what you want there is disable driver signature enforcement. So number 7. You just press 7, it'll boot up. And your windows will pretty much look the same as usual. And the only difference is you'll be able to install the driver now, whereas before you couldn't. So let's go, let me log in. I did try to figure out turning it on permanently, but some programs don't like it because they've got extra security. So what we do is this is very simple, this part. You just right click somewhere on your desktop, then you go display settings, go down here, click advanced display settings, go right down the bottom, display adapter properties. This is Windows 10 by the way, in case that wasn't obvious. And you go to monitor up here, so you select your monitor. And I've already got a driver on there, so I'm not going to install this one I just opened up. And then you go to driver, you bring it up, properties, general, you know, driver, and then you go to update driver, browse, let me pick, blah blah blah, have disk, browse, and then you choose your file, you go OK, and that doesn't matter. Anyway, that's the one we named, 35 Hz, and then you go next, 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 next. And it will come up with a screen saying, are you sure you want to install this driver? And you go yes, and once that's done it will be installed and you'll be ready to go. And then what you'll probably want to do, the first thing you'll want to do, you probably should run this test beforehand as well, so you can actually determine the before and after, is you'll go into Freesync. Freesync will load up. If you've done it right and you have reduced your Freesync range, you will notice this program is actually dynamic. It will actually show the setting here. Now, mine originally only had 45, 50, and 55. Now it's got 40. Now there is something to remember about this program. Even though my Freesync settings are down to 35 as a minimal frame rate, this program automatically sort of what do you call it? It adds up to the next closest 5. So it won't let you select 35. If you want 35, you probably have to set your Freesync range down to 34. 34 to 61. This is a little bit smaller, just so it actually it will, let you select it. But that's only this demo. So in game, your Freesync setting should be just fine, going down to 35. So it's just the demo. And if we turn Freesync off at 40 frames per second, it's difficult to say, to tell. Turn the speed up, and then I turn it on, Freesync on now, you can actually tell that it's a little bit smoother. So Freesync is not going to solve all your problems with low frame rate in game. It just makes it a little bit more smoother, but I think once you start getting down to 38 frames per second or 40 frames per second, you're still going to notice that your frame rate's going down, but it'll just be a little bit more playable because you won't have so much chunky or stuttiness or tearing. So that's that. So anyway, that's how you do the EDID hack. EDID, yeah, that's it. Alright, well, have a good one. Let me know your results and the text into your forum. See ya.